your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
Yo, what up, y'all? You like the intro? The intro was kind of popping. Kind of what I do. Welcome back, Political Theater with Dr. T. Today we are going to have Dr. H. And matter of fact, let me bring him to the stage right now. How are you? You seem a little surprised that I brought you here.
I was surprised you brought me up to the show. Yes, I was. It says on the thing, you could be brought up at any time, so I should have been ready. But I had just eaten a potato chip.
Wow. See, this is why I get off my stage. Okay. So we got a lot to talk about today. This is going to be a longer show. We have a special guest. We are going to bring this guest up right now because this guest has somewhere else to be. And I'm really happy that this person came. If you are in the comments, if you're here, let us know. Let us know that you're here. If you're watching us on Instagram, please come and join us over on YouTube. It is a much better experience over here with the comment section. Shout out to everybody who comes and joins us on YouTube. I know that I'm being like shadow banned and whatever, but it is what it is. We're going to do what we're going to do. All right, so let me pull my guest up. My guest today is none other than KiKi, also known online as the Uppity Negress. She happens to have one of my favorite names online. It is signifying, it is subversive, and we really appreciate that she's here. But the reason I brought her here, well, first of all, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
And I just want to stop and say, I know a lot of y'all have not heard my voice, and every time people hear me talk, they are surprised I sound like this because they expect me to have the deepest, most aggressive voice online. And so I just want y'all, anybody who this is your first time hearing my voice, and when you're reading my reads online, I want you to make sure that you're reassigning this voice to them because it somehow makes them more funny, at least in my head.
Yeah. No, people do that. So it's fun. Like I've had, I've been publicly speaking for a long time, but there's still so many people that are just like, I didn't know you sounded like that. And I'm like, I'm 6 feet tall. I have smoked on since I was 14. Of course I sound like this. But yes, to me, your voice fits how you look. All right. They say you have a lovely voice. Okay. So here we are. So somebody on Instagram. Oh my God, I follow her on Threads. I do too. Follow her on Threads as well. Instagram, Facebook. I follow
You're a person of great taste.
This is what it is. All right. We'll actually bring Dr. Hall back. Well, we're gonna make him smaller. How about that? Because he's a man.
Center men.
He's a man. So okay. So for those who don't know, and that's okay if you don't know, this past weekend on Threads, there was a lot going on, and I'm just briefly setting the stage for you because I want you to understand when KiKi shares her story, how this is situated in a larger issue of the attacks on Black women with large social media platforms, and how people who claim to be leftists or people who claim to be fighting for liberation. And for those of you that joined us for Sankofa Summer School this summer, you remember that Dr. Anderson said, our people have always been about freedom. The liberation thing has come from the left, and we have to remember that we're talking about freedom because for them, liberation is just them lifting themselves out of poverty. They're not really thinking about the rest, right? So, they'll have a lot of these people talking and all of this, but they hate Black women. They absolutely hate Black women because hating Black people, but also Black women is a very valuable currency in a white supremacist world. So this weekend, a lot of stuff was happening, and KiKi happened to be in the middle of this. And so I wanted to give her the opportunity to share what actually happened. We're calling it ChinGATE. People, it'll make sense.
Which the person that thought of that, boo, you're hilarious. please let me know who you are on Threads so I can follow you. Because ChinGATE, like, be serious.
So yes, please tell everybody what happened.
ChinGATE was. All right. So for those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is KiKi. Online, I go by the Uppity Negress. Primarily my online presence, probably about a decade ago, I would just post my thoughts on my personal page. And, you know, after so many people liking my thoughts and friends, they're like, hey, you should make this public so I can share it. And then, you know, making it public so I can share it, you know, migrated to people, you know, following me, people I didn't know personally, wanting to, you know, be on my friends list. And then eventually people are like, you should start a podcast, you should start a page. And I am glad for the person who suggested that I start a page, because a lot of the attacks for my opinions, because it was on my personal page, started being super personal. And I just didn't like people having that level of access to certain details about my personal life.
Relatable.
If you follow me online, you'll know I don't post pictures of my child, you know, anything that I post online about my kid, I literally ask consent for, because I do believe that children, you know, should have access to privacy. And so separating and compartmentalizing those thoughts and then leaving what's personal for my personal page has been one of the best things I think I've ever done for myself and for my mental health. And so about 8 years ago, my ex, who I hope falls downstairs today, and we decided that we were going to start a podcast together. And we started a promotional page for the podcast, and it just kind of blew up into an online community that was a safe space for Black queers, Black progressives, Black women, and Black men who are disabusing themselves of the fallacy of patriarchy for them.
Dr. Hall is one of those guys, right?
I assumed.
You hate patriarchy, right? You can talk. You're allowed to speak. You're muted, but you can speak. Okay, anyway. Uh-oh. She went dark. This is your fault. You're muted.
I literally said nothing.
You did this.
I did not. I did nothing.
KiKi?
We've lost KiKi.
We've lost KiKi.
What happened?
Oh my God. There she is. There. Woo.
Sorry, I'm on my phone, and somebody, of course, decided to call me right now, even though I literally do not have phone calls.
We'll just blame Dr. Hall for talking, and we're going to go with that.
Yep.
Okay, so keep going.
It's always not all men, but always a man. And so, you know, we started the promotional page, and just over time, it became me managing a great community of great Black women. You know, at one point I did a sort of demographical study of the people who follow me. And 89% of the people who follow me are Black on Facebook. Most of them have advanced degrees. Most of them are, you know, higher earners. And so it's a very intellectual community, which I think is owed to the fact that even though Facebook isn't perfect, being able to have longer form content allows you to have nuanced conversations in ways that shorter microblogging sites just kind of don't. And so if you're watching and you know me from Facebook, hi boo, I love you, I adore you. Now, I do not be on the Instagrams, and I was not on the Twitters. But for some reason, when they decided to do Threads, I signed up for Threads. And to my surprise, it actually tickled the part of my brain that social media sites need to tickle for me to stick around. Because Instagram doesn't tickle my brain in that way. And I don't know why, but you know, either I latch on to something or I don't. And so I've now been having a presence over there, just sharing my thoughts. And then
You having thoughts.
I'll be having thoughts, and you know,
your thoughts trigger people, and I use that in the real sense of it too. Like,
yeah, and I am ADHD, and so everything that I post is just sort of stream of consciousness, whatever is on my mind. You know, sometimes it's spurred rather by interactions in the world, something I've watched, something I've read. But it's always just very top of mind, organic. The thing people need to understand about me is that I am just being. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm not trying to be your teacher. I'm not trying to be your influencer. I ain't trying to sell you shit, though it would be nice if you bought some of my goddamn books.
Buy her book. Buy her book.
You know, I'm literally just existing online, and for whatever reason or another, a lot of people tend to connect to that. And I actually say in my Facebook all the time that I don't particularly understand why I, as an average ass working class Black woman, has managed to have this sort of following, because so much of what we see online is, first of all, they're not Black. And you know, they're richer than me, thinner than me, you know, go out of their house more than me, because I'd be on my couch roasting y'all while cuddling with a Swishmallow, and they be on private jets. So I don't know why y'all here, but hey, thanks, I guess. And so, you know, I think that the thing that draws people to me is the fact that I am so authentic, and that is unfortunately so rare. And so many people are trying to sell them shit that it gets exhausting, and they just want to be able to connect with a real person that seems like-minded. And so a lot of people have assigned me into that role. And that can be a double-edged sword, because even though I am very open and honest and vulnerable, you still kind of don't know me. And so I end up having to deal with a lot of people who just see a Black woman existing in a way that they don't like, and they feel like it is their place to correct her or redirect her. And that is exactly why my name online is what it is, because bitch, who the fuck are you?
I think that at least 10 times a day.
And you know what? And you do. And I think it all the time too. And I be seeing your posts, and I know you be seeing my posts. And because the other thing I ask myself when I wake up every day is, who gonna whip my ass?
Nobody.
Not a motherfucking soul.
I tell people all the time, you can't beat my ass. You can't.
Nobody's gonna beat me up. And you know what else? I'm rarely wrong.
That part.
And you know what else? I'm smarter than you.
No.
And you know what else? I'm not ugly, so you can't really make much fun of how I look.
They always want to, you know, I notice people come for your looks. I'm like, are we looking at the same person?
Are we looking at the same person? And it's so
I'm trying not to cuss. I'm trying to get monetized, so I gotta not cuss. But
okay, I will try to censor myself.
No, it's hard.
I'm a very profane person, but I tell people all the time, like, it is so funny when I'm sitting online and y'all are trying to convince me that I'm this ugly person. And I understand that everybody is not going to find me beautiful. But baby, the day that I can walk out of the door and not throw a rock and hit at least 5 that wouldn't mind being in the vicinity of my vagina, then I will consider that I'm not that girl. All right. But that day ain't came yet.
Hasn't come yet.
All right.
Won't come for a long time.
Like, and so there's just something about a Black woman who knows who she is and is like, and I post this all the time. I know I'm exactly who I think I am, and that tears y'all up inside.
Yeah.
It actually,
I want to pause at that for a second. I want to pause at that for a second, because again, this has been days now. What is it? Tuesday?
This is day 5.
This is day 5. And it's day 5 of several Black women who could say the exact same thing that you just said, right? And relate to it, and it resonates deeply. And we've all been kind of dealing with this because of what you said. I know who I am, right? And you know who you are. And it wasn't until I got to social media, and I think around the time I turned 40, I really started paying attention, because I generally ignore white people, but I started paying attention around age 40. And I realized, y'all don't know who you are. And you're trying to figure it out. And part of why people develop these parasocial relationships is also notice how people copy my style. Like they mimic me, and not even intentionally. They just pick it up because I'm so influential on them. Yeah, but it's like they don't know who they are. And so there's a lot of like insecurity around that. And we know what happens with insecure people. They tend to project. And then when you bring in,
Chris.
yes, when you bring in the racial and gender dynamics of Black womanhood, upon whom, you know, the entire world has been taught that it's okay to project onto and to whip and to beat down and to step on, that leads to that. I just wanted to put that out because some people need to understand where that's coming from. Okay, continue. So tell us, so what happened on the threads? Now you all have learned who KiKi is. If you've never heard of her before, many of you are here because you know who she is. On a situation went down. Walk us through it quickly. Tell us what happened and how you became public threads enemy #1.
So I don't mean to brag. No, I'm kidding. So I was doing the same thing that I literally do every day on the internet. I was scrolling down my timeline, and there's been this thing on Threads recently where Taylor Lorenz, who is supposedly a journalist, but carrying on, she posted an article where she was basically being kind of sort of untruthful or not entirely truthful about funding, and just kind of skewed a program that progressive creators are being paid to be trained on how to create better content. Mm-hmm. And one of the creators, his name is James. I'm not sure if it's Crocker or Crockett off the top of my head now.
I think there's an R in there.
I think that's okay. So Crocker, okay. James Crocker, and he is an 18-year-old gay kid. And for whatever reason, because people decided that anybody in the chorus program must be a Zionist or they must be paid to not talk about Israel, they went through his old, I think, tweets and found some stuff when he was in high school, where he was at that time pro-Israel, but they did not search the post where he literally got took AP American history, changed his opinion, and grew. And this one pointy-chinned heifer named Political Persian, she was being sexually harassing to him. Yes, look at it. I want everybody to look at that jaw and tell me that's not a Habsburg jaw. And
so first of all,
and if you cannot do that, why you mad?
You skipped it. Okay, I just wanted people to see for reference. Okay, that woman has a long jaw.
It enrages me. All right.
And when you look at her,
she was basically so she quote tweeted something of him with his picture, literally inviting people to attack his appearance, insinuated that he looked older than what he looked, and that made it okay for her to attack him. And then she also insisted that she was sexy.
This is him.
Look at that kid. That is a kid, bro.
This is clearly a kid.
And she's like, he was just like, what is this? I'm not okay with this. This is harassment. Stop, bro. And she just kept doubling down on these comments about him, his appearance, his high school political views. And I hopped in and I'm like, why is she doing all this with a Habsburg jawline?
And first of all, most of those people didn't even know. Most of those people didn't even get that reference.
Most people didn't get that reference because they're dumb. And so everybody who saw that and they know history, they realized that it was a direct reference to the shape of her jaw being the same as the Habsburg, which was a European dynasty that did a lot of inbreeding, and so their jaw lines became elongated, deformed, pointy. And for whatever reason, people allowed her to then go on the internet and pretend that this was transphobic because talking about someone's jawline is inherently transphobic. We'll come back to that.
Wait, hold on. I just found something funny. Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hold you. I know you got to go to work. But hold on a second. Let me go over here. What is she doing here? She's saying,
and I give it to you. That's
a white woman.
Yep, and I do.
That's
Let
a
me
white
know,
woman.
girl, what you want to do. Give me something.
That is a white woman.
And so that was, thank you for pulling that up, because she also said that it was racist because she's Persian and she's Swana. And Swana is a decolonized term to refer to what used to be known as MENA. or MENA, which are, people from the region of the world. It's like the Middle East, Caucasia, Southwest Asia, some parts of North Africa, which that in and of itself is ridiculous to me. Because, first of all, girl, when you say Swana, we know you're not talking about the Sudan.
You're not.
We know you're not talking about Libya.
Nope.
We know you ain't talking about the people who used to be the original Egyptians.
Somebody on Instagram said she has a moon face, and we'd call people that when I was a kid, and it had nothing to do with gender. They used to call me.
It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with you looking European and inbred.
That's a white woman, and I just really want to pause really quickly. I don't do all of that biological phenotypical nonsense because that race is a
you're white, passing. You're white.
Yeah, race is a false construction by racist white people, and so all of that I go by culture and how you show up in the world, and that determines that for me. And that person right there benefits from looking and showing up as a white person. And so saying that I'm Persian people are white for the most part. Like, we can debate that. Some people say, well, no, they're not. Okay, well, some are not, but for the most part, they won. Dow v. US, they became white, okay, according to United States law. But I mean, come on.
And so,
why would you know that she was anything other than that?
Well, her name is political Persian.
But
I mean, I could have cared about that, but I didn't, because it ain't got nothing to do with her jaw looking like that.
It ain't got nothing to do with that.
Every Persian person ain't got that jawline.
I've seen Persian people that don't have that jawline.
Every person ain't got that jawline.
Right.
No, every European person ain't got that jawline, baby. That is a you thing.
So, and I also want to point out that you said this, and it was cool for a while.
It was cool for a while until she decided to quote it or whatever, because I actually had to have it blocked. And I have it blocked because I tried some nonsense with a different popular Black woman called Petty Auntie. And I don't remember if I have her blocked.
Who was in the chat, by the way. Petty Auntie is in the chat.
Hey, Auntie. But basically, there's been a wave of people who claim they're Palestinian, tagging random creators with large followings, asking for money. Everybody who follows me knows I do not do unsolicited funding, campaigns, whatever. And she said something along those same lines of like, look, I understand that there's something going on over there, but I don't know you. I don't know, I don't do this. I'm not a fundraiser, and for whatever reason, Swana people decided that they were offended by that. And they really tried to go in on her and hold her accountable. And I showed up to the conversation like, who are y'all to hold her accountable? Are y'all in community with her? Do you provide her money? Like, look at that job. Tell me that ain't the same job.
I just want to make sure people had a visual.
And the thing about, and so after a little bit of that, and it was just a little bit, I blocked those raggedy people, like, because you're dumb and I don't want to talk to you. And clearly you're not gonna, if you cannot understand that Hasbard jawline is not a racial feature unless you're actually a European inbred person, then you're dumb. And you don't have the range to try to engage me in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
Go to the shadow realm. To the shadow realm with things.
A lot of people don't have the range.
And then this is where it twists in turns. So Cheryl, the leftist lawyer on Instagram and Threads, she shared my kind of like me explaining like, no, she just got a pointy ass chin. That's a Habsburg jawline. And she was like, no, we're not going to do this. And this is me paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what she said.
I'm going to try
talking
to find
about someone's jaw is transphobic.
Yeah.
You need to delete this. And I didn't even see it for a few hours because I was outside touching grass. And I came back and I was going through, my people with comments.
Oh, they blocked
like,
me.
The leftist
lawyer blocked me. Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. That's wonderful. And someone was like, the leftist lawyer blocked you. And so I'm not blocked me. The leftist lawyer called you out. And so I'm like, what you mean? She's like, yeah. And she gave me the link to it. And I went and I read it. And what you need to know about me, first and foremost, I have oppositional defiant disorder. You ain't my mama. You ain't my boss. Who the f are you to tell me to do any goddamn thing? So first of all, delete this now. Like, girl, who is you? I don't know you. You don't know me. If any, and I say this all the time, if the way I interact with the world, the way I navigate is unaligned with who you are and what you do, bitch, go. Because I never cordially invited you to be here. You followed me because you saw me doing what I always do, being myself, and for whatever reason at that time, it resonated with you. And guess what? I'm that same bitch whether you're here or not. So if who I am is not for you, and I say this all the time, I'm not for everybody, and that is really fucking okay with me. Because at the end of the day, I gotta be me. And you gotta do what's right for you. And you do not have to involve me in that process at all. Because I would like very much to be removed from this narrative, of which I never asked to be a part of, bitch. I never asked for you to project all of these feelings about who I should be onto me. So go ahead and remove me from this entirely and do it on mute because I don't give a fuck about it. Anyway. So Cheryl did that.
Wait, hold on. Somebody Instagram, Brib said, yes, many of us saw in real time the interaction between Political Persian and Cheryl, where Political Persian goaded Cheryl into this public kind of display and this call out. Yeah.
And I wasn't there, so I didn't see this.
Right.
And so, so Cheryl, right? I understand as a trans person who perhaps does not get the historical reference, and I'm gonna just repeat, who did not get the historical reference. And she said specifically that someone had referred to her jawline in that way, but you're white. Have you ever considered that it's because you're white too? And not just
there might have been some inbreeding there too.
It's a European feature and you are very goddamn Euro.
But it very quickly changed to, okay, so we get that it's not trans, but it's wrong to talk about inbreeding.
No, we'll get there.
I'm sorry, wait, hold on. Dr. Hall, a resident Appalachian.
And so,
what is it wrong to suggest that somebody has been inbred when they are white and have a Habsburg jaw? You know, we lost KiKi again just because we letting me talk.
I think it's letting me talk, and I'm totally fine just chilling in the background.
But as the Appalachian,
I think the bon mot about what KiKi did was she made a statement that can be interpreted a certain way, but also can just be an insult in and of itself. So it's a much deeper cut than most people would get. I think people were reading into it sort of contemporary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So and once again, Threads is a place for quick thoughts, and people read it quickly and get triggered and angered quickly.
And they read every other word.
Right.
They don't even read the full post.
Right. And so what could be just two people having a disagreement suddenly becomes 10,000 people having opinions about a person. And if I've learned anything from this conversation about KiKi and what I know about you is often you're not on Threads to argue so much as you're just saying things out loud, but people get triggered and get into that space. And now it's a whole thing that goes on for days.
So Doc, I'm going to pull you out so that she can have the second slot, and then I'll bring you back in. But thank you. I do like that you come in with the psychoanalysis because that's your job, right? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back to Dr. Hall too as a psych person because with my bypassing theory on this, because I would love to hear a professional thought on it. And so after Cheryl did that, and again, me as a person who is I'm queer, all right, I'm pansexual. And the reason that I am pansexual instead of bisexual is because I understand, you know, the dynamics of like being inherently exclusive to trans people in your dating and like all of that, what that means. And so I rarely care about what people say on the internet about me, literally ever. But I do care when they're mischaracterizing me. And that's kind of an autistic thing, I think, because, you know, I like to be very direct and very literal in what I mean. And so, you know,
when people don't get it, it's like, how much more clear can I be?
Words
because people always want to read subtext because people always bring that stuff. And it's like, read the words as they are written.
Yeah. And And I always say exactly what I mean. And so if I wanted to say political Persian, you look trans, or you look like a man, I would have said those things. But those are not things that I thought. Those are not things that I feel. Those are not things that I would say. What I meant to say was that the bitch had a pointy chin. And that's what I said. Because she do.
Because she does.
Because she do.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you a joke, but never a lie.
You started calling her Perchin. And
yeah, the political Persian. And I'm very proud of that. I'm so clever.
I can't.
I see why y'all people follow me on Threads.
Sometimes
I'm just turning goddamn phrase. I'll tell you that.
I just had surgery and laughing is really hard. And so I'm reading it and I'm sitting here like, I can't laugh because I'm like, this hurts.
And like, here's the thing, right? Making fun of people is inherently a not nice thing to do. And depending on what you're making fun of and why, it can be problematic. It can be transphobic. And so if my comments to Perchin were to say that she looks masculine or that she looks, not like a woman or whatever, yes, that is transphobic. Absolutely. Because no one feature is gendered, but the Habsburg jaw is not gendered. Females in that line had it too.
It's inbred.
Right? And if you want to say that it is, bad to make fun of someone for features that might be considered ethnic, again, how is that a common Persian feature?
It's not.
It's not.
Never. I actually know many Persian people and their jaws don't touch their navels like that. I'm just...
That is a very specific, unique feature to her.
That's her.
And Natalie Nunn. And that is why they are made fun of for them. The same way I get made fun of every day on Threads because I have big old bubbly eyes.
Mm-hmm. I got a 5 head. I get it. Like,
could you imagine if I was like, oh, you think all Black women look like frogs? No, they just think I look like a frog because I got big old fucking froggy eyes. And you know what? That's okay because I'm still fine. You can think that, right? But it was not more than that. Chin over to the front and touch your toes. Chin.
You know what? I hate this show. I hate this show. Why the messiest comment section?
Why you got me?
So you were talking about this, and then because, and this was my perspective of it, because I do follow Cheryl, and I actually engaged Cheryl in good faith because I can, and I've been following Cheryl for a long time. I can tell when Cheryl is activated, right? Cheryl is out there every day as a lawyer fighting in eviction courts and all these kinds of things. Cheryl actually does really good work, right?
And I said this in a statement. And I said this when this first happened. I told people, I don't want y'all attacking Cheryl.
Yeah.
I think that Cheryl is a good person with good intentions, who does good work, who got me fucked up.
Yeah. And I think what ended up happening for Cheryl, and please receive this in the way that I mean it, y'all. Don't go and be like, she's transphobic. No. If she ever needed people to clock her as a woman, she acted like a white woman in that moment. I feel like, bitch, if you ever needed validation of your white womanhood, it is right there. Because that's exactly how you acted.
I've actually said this to someone before. It's like, I don't need to be transphobic to you because you are definitely a fucking white woman.
Right. And
you are a white woman right now.
And I want people to understand that even as we say this, like, y'all know who we are, but we're talking about something very real here. Because what happened was Cheryl weaponized white female damselhood. And Cheryl came on that and was just like basically making it out like you personally attacked her. And oh my God.
I wasn't talking to her, wasn't talking about her.
You weren't thinking about her.
But she made it about her. Wasn't talking to another trans person. Like if I was talking to another trans person and like maybe she saw seed in that. No, I was talking to a cis woman. Yeah. About something that is a unique feature to her. And I understand, Cheryl, if people have attacked you using that feature to say that it makes you look more masculine, I have empathy for that, right? And I understand how that would be triggering. if I was fucking talking to you.
If I was talking to you. And that's what happens when you mind other people's business. You need to mind the business that pays you instead of minding other people's business, because then you get your feelings hurt.
In the same tone, in the same context. But I wasn't. And what I find interesting about Cheryl in all of this is that she then pivoted from, okay, maybe it's not transphobic to talk about the Habsburg being a Habsburg jawline specifically, but I just think it's mean and not nice to insist that people might look inbred or make fun of their features. And so I'm just going to block people who do that. But Cheryl, the original context of this whole conversation started because Perchin was attacking a literal teenager's appearance. And I and all of the things that I have seen, I ain't never seen her address that part. If that is so problematic to you, why the fuck were you there in the first place?
Can I bring in Dr. Hall real quick? Dr. Hall. Okay. So you weren't there. So what basically what happened was this 18-year-old is like kind of going back and forth. Again, an 18-year-old, right? What do we know? What's going on with their frontal lobes, Doc? 18.
Fresh in the adulthood. Fresh in the adulthood. Not fully baked is what I always say. Not fully baked, right? Learning how to navigate the space and trying to do it online where you're once again exposed to the world's opinion.
Right.
So what in our time when we were kids would have been just two people, having an argument in the back of a gym became the world stage.
Right. And then also the age dynamic. Perchin is what, like 30 at least?
That's what people have been estimating. I would say 42.
Okay.
But then we have to remember that she looks like a white woman. So maybe 30 is accurate.
Okay. So there was at least a decade difference, right? And so this woman comes and it's like, don't I look sexy? Basically, like, go beat off in a sock while you're thinking about how sexy I am. First of all, she's lying because there ain't nothing sexy about her. But second,
I'm sure somebody
somewhere thinks
that does it for somebody.
Somebody who is into chin play loves it.
Fetish, and he just wants to stroke it in an angular way all night.
Right on the chin. That's who she exists for. And that's fine. So she comes and then says, ain't I sexy? Go beat off in a sock. He tells her, I'm not comfortable with this. Like, yo, don't do this to me. That was it. Mm-hmm. Just don't do this to me.
Yes.
If the tables were turned and this was an 18-year-old young woman and a 30, 35, 42-year-old man saying this,
it would be considered
inappropriate. Would be like, this is completely inappropriate.
And if I hopped into that interaction and said, why are you harassing this young girl when you look like your family has been fucking each other for the past 5 centuries, nobody would get mad about it.
Right. And I think she reacted because her family probably has. But anyway, I think that what ended up happening is that we all kind of saw this, right? Like a lot of us, like when I caught up, I was just like, what? She said that to, I caught it after the Habsburg part. But when I went back, I was just like, why would you say this to this kid? Now, again, I'm saying kid because I just took my kid to college and he's 18. And I reacted because I was just like, if you had said something like that to my son, this conversation would be very different. And there was a number of Black women who were chiming in, right? Black women as nurturers, as the original mothers are kind of coming in like, what are you doing? And then it went from there. Then it became about being Swana. You're a white woman. Shut up. Okay? You are a white woman.
And if I said you have a Jafar chin, then maybe we could say
that's different.
Then maybe we could say that I was being anti-Swana. Yeah. If I said she looked like Bin Laden.
Or you are Hollying your Selassie. Yes.
Yeah, but that's not what happened. I said you look like a European inbred person, and as someone from Caucasia, I probably wasn't that far off.
And so it spiraled into this thing. And again, I know you have to go, but I really appreciate this context because I think it's super important. Because what ended up happening was other folks like myself and some other people, some people I don't follow, I don't have connection with or whatever, but all kind of rallied around because we understood the context in which you said the things that you said. And we pay attention because we're smart. That's what people do. You pay attention to context. You find the story, you look for it, you get the nuance, you try to see both sides and see what's going on. That's what you do. And I was like, I ended up saying, I was like, I would have probably handled it differently, not because I'm distancing myself from KiKi or saying that she's wrong, but because y'all are not worth my good jokes. Because there were so many, I mean, KiKi was hitting like so many one line. I was like, y'all are not worth these
tell
jokes.
you, right? So I'm from the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
All right. Roasting motherfuckers is what we do. And I'm a pregnant woman with a high-risk pregnancy, and I'm on leave from work. I ain't got shit but time. What you want to talk about?
I'm an Aries from New York. I'm from the Bronx. You ain't got it. You ain't gonna win on this one.
Okay. I'm Black and I'm queer. And
Cultural
those things
nuance.
together mean
those
things together means I'm a read a bitch. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
And if you don't like that, I get it.
Yeah.
Have you tried leaving me the fuck alone?
And that's it. And we're never getting monetized, and it's okay. But
no,
I think
I do have a little bit more time because I'm not.
Oh, good. Please stay. Please stay.
But yeah, so this is day 5,
yeah.
and I did block a lot of people just because after I get a good line or two in, I get my screenshots to show my people on Facebook where I am actually monetized so they can laugh at you and I can make money for it. You have served your purpose to me and you have a great day.
That's it. That's it. And that's the thing is like what I want people to see, and part of why I wanted to have you here, so people can kind of see you and experience you as the human being that you are. Because unfortunately, what ends up happening is that people make us into products for their personal consumption. They see us as these entities and not human beings. You are in your home. I am in my home. Dr. Hall, you look like you're in your office, but that's like your second home because that is where you provide care for people. We are human beings. And so we laugh, we joke, we do all these things, and people will read Black women as these perpetually angry, attitudinal, neck rolling sister girl. And I hate white women. I hate when y'all come at us and it's like,
especially when y'all try
I know you're gonna drag me. I know you're gonna drag me. I'm not thinking about you.
I get that a lot of the times too, where someone in my comments pop up and they're like, I know you're gonna drag me for this. And my thoughts are always, 1, so why fucking say it? And 2, why do you think I care about this so bad?
Right.
I only drag people sometimes because I know I can say something smart and clever and that people are going to like it on Facebook where I am monetized, or because I have a point to prove that I think people will find important or insightful or educational. And then again, I share it on Facebook. Right now, Threads right now for me is a content farm for the people I actually care about on fucking Facebook.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
And so I which isn't to say that like the online community I've built isn't important to me, but on Threads, it kind of is that, because Facebook is the community with people who have been down on this journey of my life for me for like a good part of the past decade. And so they know me, right?
That's how I feel. Like, I feel like the people who know me, right? Like, I have people who started following me when they were in high school. They married with kids now. Like, I've been at this for a long time. And that's why, like, when things come up like what happened today, I'm not even going to get into it because that person is not worth the energy. But so many people were like, I know this person is lying. And we work to be the kind of people whose reputations precede us, so that people are like, that's not my experience with them. You are lying. This can't be true. I strive to be that kind of person.
Yeah. And that's very much so only possible when you're not trying to be, right?
Yes.
If you are who you are, wherever you are, and you show up the same in every space you occupy, everything that people, I always like to say that, like, a lot of times I feel like I'm a mirror, right? Because I am just being. Yeah. And people are projecting on them.
Yes.
And sometimes that happens in a good way, where like they're like, when I look at you, I see parts of myself that I like and want to be connected to. And sometimes it happens where they see parts of themselves that they just fucking and I get attacked because of that too, because especially when I'm talking about myself and how much I love myself, or like my story and my history, because I have a goddamn story. One of these days I'm gonna post a memoir. Y'all gonna be like, girl, that there's just a lot of people who don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, it incenses them.
Yeah.
And they just feel like Black women should not occupy the space of influence that we do. And it is absolutely a lot of their goals to knock us down as much as they possibly can.
Because our humanity is a threat to them.
They get so mad when they meet a person like me who, first of all, don't care. I don't value white opinions with the sense of reverence that they feel due.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So tell me about this term you coined.
Oh, yes. So I was thinking today, because I have noticed this behavior before.
Doc, it's your turn. She's going to come and talk.
Yeah.
You guys can talk. Okay.
So if you were a member of Woke Book, first of all, you may be entitled to compensation. But secondly, you know that this behavior is not new. People will get into personal disagreements or have a personal distaste. And this is what happened with Cheryl, where she took something that was personal, a personal trigger based on her personal experience, right? And somehow found a way to attach that to her identity and make it so that anybody who is talking about that thing that is actually personal is actually an identity-based attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot like spiritual bypassing. And so I have decided, and this is a working title, to call it marginal bypassing, because you're using like this little space of a margin that you occupy to try to like bypass accountability for, in that case, your own fucking psychological triggers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I said this in my statement to Cheryl after she unblocked me after being dragged so much for trying it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I understand why you were triggered. I don't understand how that became my responsibility.
Yeah. No. Doc, what do you think? What do you think about this marginal bypassing, Doc? What do you think?
I think, once again, on the internet, people are reading from their own personal experiences and thus reading into a lot of what they see. And I think that's a catchy term for people taking sort of essentially internalizing according to their own triggers and then conflating it, making it bigger than it is. So I think it does speak to a lot of what's often happening. And if I go by, the responses that the two of you often have on threads, it's like the person's arguing with you. They're really arguing with some aspect of self, but they projected it onto you because you hit that one thing inside them in their core identity that, like, how dare someone say something about this particular thing? I think this person hates me and thus I must defend myself, right? Like, it becomes such an activating thing when very often, Michelle, you and I have had conversations where it's like, oh, you weren't even talking about that. I could see where you're talking about this, but they heard that. And now they're 10 miles down the road on that one thought when that wasn't at all what you were trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I spend so many of my interactions with people on threads specifically, and it does happen sometimes on Facebook, but not as much, just because I am a writer and it's longer formed, and I'm autistic, and so I have more space to be incredibly clear.
Mm-hmm.
But on threads, like, I so often, okay, that's great. Who fucking said that though?
Yeah.
If I said 2 + 2 = 4 and you heard fuck 5, one, that doesn't change that 2 + 2 is actually 4.
Right.
And next, I don't know where you decided I got a problem with 5, but that's something you need to work out within you, boo. And then people, sometimes they want to double down on that. And at that point, now I'm just going to roast you because you're not serious.
Mm-hmm.
You're not serious. I'm not going to take you seriously. I'm not wasting any serious thought on you. Now I'm about to have fun because you are ridiculous and unserious, and ridiculous and unserious is what I'm about to serve.
This is becoming yes.
I want to just really quickly, it activates them when Black women activate it specifically. And I think that that's extremely, extremely important. Again, going back to this historical treatment of Black women as basically dumpsters, right? Whipping girls, cum dumpsters, receptacles, all these things. Like that. Yes, that has been the condition of Black women for centuries. And that is what is taught. That is how people are treated. And when they are raised and they have nannies and they see their white mothers talking to their Black au pairs in the ways that they do, they come to believe that that's how it's supposed to be. When they see the media and see how Black men treat Black women, they come and say, well, damn, if their own men are treating them like that, then they must be this, you know? And so
shows with their white antagonists, and she
yes,
has the Black sidekick that's just there for clapbacks.
Just there for clapbacks and all of
they're
that.
supposed to be the main character in my life.
And
guess
media,
what? You're not.
Media is my thing, and again, how Black women are depicted in media is my area of expertise. And I know that people don't believe in experts anymore, but that's where I come in, and that is extremely like a huge part of why people think of us and treat us in the ways that we do. We do function as caricatures to them. We are almost cartoon characters to them. We are like these objects for them. They feel that. Have you noticed that most of the therapists on popular television and films are Black women? It is done by design. It sets up this idea that Black women are there to solve your problems, to heal you, and to fix you. And so people will look at someone like you who has this presence and you have all this, they are drawn to that. My friend Patrick had to talk because I couldn't understand this. He said, they just want to touch the hem of your garment. Yes, he's a pastor in South Side of Chicago, but he was like, they just want to touch the hem of your garment because something about you represents healing. And they don't realize that they're dumping all of their stuff on you and the impact that that has. Now, you and I have pretty good safeguards, but we're still human. And people don't realize that, yes, we can actually absorb this. And I got prickly because you are pregnant. And you shared this with people and you've had losses. And here you are, and you are celebrating your pregnancy, a high risk pregnancy, by the way. And these white women, a lot of these white women, a lot of these people who are perceived as white, these leftists, these white male leftists who are the worst people in the world, they decided to pile on to you
with blue hair and undercuts.
Right. And and all I could think of, you know, and it's a trigger warning for those who are watching the replay, is how they strung up a Black woman and cut her child from her womb and stomped on it. That's how they were treating you this weekend. And that activated something very deep in me as somebody who has experienced loss, right? Like stress-related loss, okay? That is what got me involved. Like, I was just like, oh, no, absolutely not. I've never met KiKi a day in my life, but that I consider her my sister. And there's no way that you all are going to pile on her and stress her out when she's about to bring forth another one of our people into this realm. Absolutely not. And that's one thing that these people will never understand. They don't have connections like that. They don't have anybody that cares about them like that. They don't have community. They don't have friends. They have their family hates them. Their mothers damn sure hate them. Because I've learned anything through this college process is that nobody hates their kids more than white women. So I'm like, you all are sitting here and piling on this woman, not over my Black ass alive and breathing body. Absolutely not. And I think that a lot of people were activated in that same way. I'm significantly older than you, but when I was your age, people were still treating me like this. When I lost my child, my twins, people got online and lied about me and said that I was pregnant by a white man and that I was stealing money from people to get an abortion. I just had a medical procedure where I'm going to need to post a GoFundMe, and every single day I'm delaying it because all I could think back is to 2017 in the summer when people.
Deep breath. It's okay, doctor.
Treated me like I was nothing. And so for me, it activates that because you have had loss. And how dare these people do that? I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah. And yeah, take a moment, and I'm definitely holding space for that, and I appreciate you. And I just like to say, you know, because I do take it all very unseriously, it hasn't had much of an impact on my mental health outside of annoyance. And you know, I dish it out and I can take it. And you know, like I said, I'm always smarter, I'm always funnier, I'm always wittier. If you want to get dirty, you don't want to get dirty. Because if you go low, I'm gonna drag you to hell. And I
have to wonder like how much of that is cultural, right? Like the culture that I'm from, even, you know, like where I went to high school, like if a situation got like that, then it's like there's a certain, okay, all bets are off, I'm gonna say whatever now. And there's an element of, we can have this disagreement, we can have this argument, but afterwards, whatever, it's whatever. It doesn't have to like escalate to this point. But when you're having it online, suddenly it's being filtered through these other cultural values. And it's like, well, she's gone too far because she said something about her parents. But like in the world I grew up in, you might just catch a stray. Like either shut up or keep walking.
Yeah. Or in my world, like if it's really that big of a problem, I can beat you up.
Right. right. What you got on it?
Let me tell you,
yeah.
It's like me growing up, I got into a lot of fist fights, y'all. And nobody ever believes that because I talk like this and I'm from the south side of Chicago and I lived in the hood with this Valley girl voice. And so people try me all the time. Yeah. And you know what else people did? Learned I'm not the one to try.
There you go.
All right. And so knowing that I navigate the world in such a way that like intellectually you can't beat me up and physically you can't either. And now I'm at that age where I got stuff to lose. So I got guns. I will shoot you. It's okay. Yeah. Like how bothered by
all this? The time.
Really? How bothered by you are this really? How important is it to you?
That's why I was so bothered today when Jen was talking that stuff. I'm like, you know me. You've been around me. You know, I will whoop your ass. Like I just. What is wrong with you? Like, I don't understand how people act that way. We're not just talking this. Some of us were raised in these environments that created these ways of defending and standing up for ourselves because we had to fight.
Yeah. And
a lot of us grew up in some fucked up homes and had to fight in our own homes. Okay, I'll fight you. If I gotta fight somebody who's supposed to love me, I'm definitely gonna fight you.
Yeah. And, you know, because of, you know, I've gone through a lot, which is why I said, like, one day I'm going to publish a memoir and people are going to be like, whoa, girl. Like, and so this stuff here, nothing. Okay. I have survived things that would have killed people who are not me. You know, I have endured things that would have made people who are not me kill themselves. And so when you are doing your little tippity typing on your little keyboard, I don't give a fuck. You're ugly. You're probably musty. Nobody loves you. You're not smart. Like it's okay. I'm everything that you're not, and you're mad about it. And you're mad that you can't make me give a fuck about what you're saying because I don't. And that's what it really is.
They want the attention. They want your attention. They want to feel validated by you. Me saying the other day, I don't like Barbie and Wicked caused a firestorm, and I'm just like, are y'all crazy? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what is wrong with you?
How dare you not like those popular white people movies?
But I do appreciate that I have laid enough of a groundwork, even on a site like Threads that is, you know, the microblogging. You can't build community in the same way as my Facebook community. Now, if this had happened on my Facebook community, I would feel sorry for that girl.
Right.
Because of how I know that they would have responded because they know me. Like, know me. And I oftentimes, like when people bring this kind of stuff to me on Facebook, I just block them immediately because I know how protective people get of me in that community because they know me for real. They've been riding with me, watching my journey for 10 years. They know everything that I've been through. They know everything that I've overcome. They know the things that I'm struggling with right now. And any random person I even put a disclaimer at the top of my page. I am loved here, y'all. I will not save you if you try some nonsense and my following get to you for it. And it's not even the point of like, I think I'm above reproach or I think that I am above, you know, being taken to task or held accountable. It's that I am who I am and everybody who is here with me knows who I am and they're already okay with that. You mad. You don't have to be here.
Right. And it's allowing us the right to fail, to make mistakes, to be human. And unfortunately, Black women in public Black women on social media are not allowed or not given, we can be, but we're not given the space to be flawed. We're not given the space to make mistakes or to correct things. I have people bringing up things that I said in like 2009 to try to throw in my face. Like, look, she's a bigot. I'm like, that was 16 years ago. Like you haven't changed. Maybe because you haven't changed in 16 years, you think that I haven't, but it's like, that's what people will do. Anything that they can hold something over you. And so that was pretty much, you know, and for those who were coming in, again, I just wanted to reiterate, because we are going to move into our next segment, and I'm very thankful, KiKi, that you came. I invited KiKi to come and to talk about this, because I think that this occupied so much space and energy on like social media
I
and
was
on
trending
Threads.
on Threads.
Yeah, you were
trending.
trending on Threads, and but
all
it,
because
again,
some bitch got a pointy chin.
it's all because somebody has a pointy chin, and you dared to state the obvious. And that's the thing. It's like all I'm doing is stating the obvious. But again, white people are extremely passive aggressive. They are non-confrontational until it's time for them to shoot up a school. And then they are very much like, oh, you weren't supposed to say that. You're allowed to think it, but you weren't allowed to say it. And we will say those things. And they will both envy that boldness and be repulsed by it, right? So that ended up spiraling into this whole thing. I have not lost any followers. I think I gained like 2,000. So it's fine. Like I don't care. You know, I don't care.
People. I lost followers because I was blocking people.
Right. I blocked. Like, there's so many people I blocked.
And
right.
You know, my follower count has already bounced back from that. And so my whole thing is, I feel like, one, Threads don't pay me.
Right. We don't get paid by this.
Threads don't pay me. You don't pay me. You didn't birth me. You're not my mama. You're not my boss. Your block button is right there. You have a wonderful day, or the day you deserve. And that's just where it is. And again, it's not to the point that like I think I'm above reproach, but like if we're not in community and you're not my peer, and that's an important thing for me to consider you a peer, because again, and this is not even me being cocky, most of you are not fucking as smart as me. So what happens more often than not is that I said some shit that you did not have the range to understand. And you know what, FJ, I'm gonna be very completely transparent with you. Like when I was younger and I came across your Twitter feed, like I did not understand a lot of that stuff, and it used to make me angry because I used to be very male identified. And so this is kind of a full circle moment and just goes to show you that, you know, people grow. But I didn't have the range at that time to understand you.
Listen,
right?
There was a time where I liked men too. We all grow.
And right,
and that's want to be on my show. And just as a show of good faith.
Yeah. And so most of the time I require that a person be someone I consider a peer, because a lot of you don't have the range.
Yeah.
And you just don't. And that's not your fault. But it ain't mine either.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really it. So audience, thank you. I mean, let's all put a 1 in the chat to thank KiKi for being here and for being able to have this conversation. And hopefully now you all read the things that she presents. You'll see who she is. You'll connect it to the human being that she is. And you are welcome on the show anytime you want. Anytime you have something, you know what? I just really want to talk about something, Michelle. Like, can I hop on? Of course. I will move Dr. Hall out of the way. Absolutely does not have to be here. And then you can come on and then we can have that conversation. Stick around, folks, because we are going to be talking about the political theater part of this. And so thank you again, KiKi. Please have a good evening. Take care of yourself. We're wishing you all the best for this pregnancy. We love it. We're sending you all the energy. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, y'all.
All right. Take care. Dr. Hall, I'm stuck with you. Okay.
Yeah, just little old me.
So there's a bunch of things, but because I wanted to give KiKi that space, I don't want to keep people here all night. I mean, you and I haven't done this in a long time, so I don't know. Put a 1 in the chat if you want us to do our docket. Put a 2 in the chat if you just want us to get to talking about a couple of things, and then we move on. You're gonna stick around? You want to be here? I mean, just let me know. I guess if you want to stay, you want to stay.
We got time today.
Yeah, we have time. They said we can do the docket. So
we're already an hour in.
Right. So I set it, I set it up. We have a few quick hits, things that we just want to really quickly talk about. I want to talk about, and this actually changed since I created this, because I was going to talk about, Trump and China and all this stuff like that or whatever. But I actually want to talk about Ibrahim Traore. Okay. Because I think that's important. So let's get through the quick hits, what's happening in our political world. And then I think it's really important to talk about Ibrahim Traore and his dictator in the making, and we need to talk about that. All right. So Russia, China, and India. If you were here at the beginning, you saw my intro. I had the video of Prime Minister Modi of India, President Putin of Russia, and President Xi Jinping of China. They were all shaking hands together and basically forming a F the US alliance. Okay. What?
Yeah.
I said this.
Yeah.
I said this like I was like, y'all, they gonna come together and try to beat us down.
What in the Bond villain pairing triumvirate?
The US, I said the US days are numbered. Okay. They come together, they were laughing. They were just, I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. KiKi and shaking hands.
Let me see if okay. I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar. I think we ought to be thinking about this. And the reason, so Trump and Modi were like this, but then Trump goes and starts talking negatively about Indians, right? Which is what a white supremacist does, right?
He's got to go xenophobia, right?
He's got to be xenophobic. And then he levies this 50% tariff on India. And Modi was like, wait.
Yeah.
I've been kissing your ass this whole time.
Hey, I own you, right? Doesn't he kind of own the U.S.? Like they
come
own a lot of the U.S.
Come on. He's been kissing
ass.
Don't
bite the hand that feeds you.
Right. And then you come and you do this. And so now so Modi's like, all right, who let me holler at China. Let me holler at Russia.
Who got next?
Because Russia and China are in their land race, right? There was once an arms race, but now they're in their land race. Both with sights on Africa, on the continent of Africa, and trying to expand and things like that. That's going to come up again later when we talk about Traoré.
It is. It's going to.
But to see India, right? India has like 1/8 of the world's population.
Yeah.
In one country. Right.
Good chunk, dense population, dense country.
Right. Uniting with China and Russia? Do you have a fallout shelter? Under your office?
I should definitely get one. There's no basement to this building, but we should definitely be thinking about stocking up goods.
That's not good. Just wanted to put that on everybody's.
Get your go bag ready.
Get your go bag ready. All right, let's listen to Donald Trump, and he's talking about this whole moving the space thing. Hold on, here we go. Space
today. This is when he popped out to make sure everybody knew he was alive.
Yeah, hold on.
Because they were unsure he was alive, so they put him up on
headquarters. We'll move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama. We love Alabama. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. And that's billions, because it can't be millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. And I am thrilled to report that.
Okay.
That's enough.
Okay, so hold on. So, Huntsville has a population of about 250,000 people, and that's actually a 15% increase in the last 5 years. They said it's one of the 20 most fastest growing cities. Right, median age of 36, median household income of 70,000. It's about 58% white, 30% Black and Latino. Okay, Huntsville, Alabama, right? And so he goes on, and he's basically, his whole rationale is that, Colorado has mail-in voting, and that's illegal.
Of the reasons that you would do a thing, of the reasons that you spend millions of dollars.
It's not that, though. It's not that. It's not. Like, I'm saying something personal. I was like, this has to be something personal, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why is he so focused on Colorado? Right. So the one of the things that he did with Colorado is they had been given $5 billion to help to fund. Was it $5 billion or 5? I don't know. It was a number. It was a lot of money, where they were given money by the government to distribute to the farmers because they had to block the water coming from the mountains or something like that. They were facing a flood of some sort or whatever. So they built this dam, but because the water wasn't coming, they were subsidizing the farmers because their crops and stuff, were affected. And so it was helping. He canceled that like immediately. It was one of the first things he did. He took the money away from them. And so, that was like, what is the issue with
which has been him diverting funds, right? Most of his administration has been diverting funds from going out of the government and keeping them in.
Yes. And specifically environmental related things I've been noticing too. Anything kind of related to the environment, preserving the environment, helping, anything related to land, wind, water, things like that. Like that's just, I've noticed that. And so I was like, there has to be something going on. And so people were responding, oh, it's a blue state. No, I live in a blue state. Like, what are you talking about? He's not doing this to my state. Okay. There's plenty of blue states. So it's not that. They're like, oh, because he is a gay governor or something. Is the governor gay?
I generally don't know anything about Colorado.
Wow. Colorado, I know at one point, I don't know if it's still the case, but they had 1,000 people moving in per week. It was one of the fastest growing. So then my friend Nikki said, she said she thinks it's that Joe Salazar messed up some of his money and local support by ringing an alarm. Donald Trump owns between $15,000 and $50,000 in stock in Energy Transfer Partners, the company responsible for the Dakota Access Pipeline. And he owned 500,000 to 1 million stock in them last year. So and she wrote this in 2016. So there's a connection between energy that he was owning and this pipeline and all this kind of stuff. She was bringing that up. And I said, that sounds more nefarious. And that's why it sounds more realistic to me. It is not so simple as, oh, it's a blue state or something. No, he doesn't attack people. He doesn't attack in this way unless it's personal. And that's one thing I know about Donald Trump. Yeah. He goes after people personally.
Right.
Okay. And so I was like, what did somebody do to him? Because that's what I need. They're like, isn't this, they tried to use the 14th Amendment to prevent him from being on the ballot in 2024. Okay, I could see part of that he would take that personally. But I was like, even with that, because he knew he was going to win. Now I was like, this got to do with money. Somebody there owe him money or somebody stole money from him. That's how he's acting. And he'll have the entire state pay for that. Just whatever. But also moving to Huntsville, Alabama.
Waste a ton of money.
Yes, on one of the states, unfortunately, I mean, I love you, Alabama folks, but you do have among the worst outcomes in pretty much every sector across the board in the United States. And it's not your fault, right? It's your local government and you're still paying for the legacy of enslavement. I'm sorry, that's just my general spiritual philosophy that all of these red states in the South and stuff that are continuing to struggle with having these horrible outcomes is because you're paying the price for having been these significantly harsh, disgusting, vile, slavery states. And then you tried to fight to keep it. So now you're paying for it, right?
It was their primary mode of resources and funding.
Yeah.
To survive without the free labor, and then
so let's move on. So a judge ruled that Trump illegally deployed the National Guard and Marines to Los Angeles. U.S. District Charles Baer said using the California National Guard and the Marines to conduct law enforcement in the city violated a 19th century law. And this was posse comitatus, and people kept saying it, comitatus, and people kept saying it. They had no idea what they were talking about. Everybody became an expert on 19th century laws. And they were just throwing it around. But they said, in short, the defendants violated the posse comitatus act. Basically, there was no reason for him to... Huh?
No legitimate legal reason?
There was no legitimate legal reason.
Legal reasons to do things?
Well...
He should work within a law? What if he just thinks he makes the laws? He's literally writing new laws every day.
Yeah.
Except for the last 5 days where he was not sick. He was very healthy and alive.
Wow. It was weekend at Trump's this weekend.
Yes.
All right. So that happened. But it's also interesting because now he wants to do the National Guard in Chicago. And our guest that we just had, KiKi, is from Chicago.
Yes.
A lot of people in Chicago that I love. And now because they've been justifying, like everybody. So the DC folks were like, crime has been dropping. Shut up. You don't need to come here. That turncoat traitor, Muriel Bowser, was just like, thank you, Dr. Donald Trump, for, whatever. And so whatever. So I'm if she wasn't a sister, I'd be saying a lot more. But it's okay. It's okay. We ain't gonna all get to the mothership, and that is just fine. But now he's targeting Chicago, and he can't. And the reason why he's doing this now, the rhetoric has been Chicago needs to let him do this because he can't do it because Illinois has a governor. Yes. Chicago has a, that kind of thing. Illinois has a state.
It belongs to the government, whereas the states belong to the state.
Right. Yeah, DC is not a state.
He specifically started in Los Angeles, which is how we found out he's not supposed to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we all know he's going to do something.
Because the GOP is supposed to be the party of states' rights, right?
I mean, the GOP, come on, 2025 is the year that all of their hypocrisy is being laid bare, literally at every turn. They're not the small government party. They're not they're not the states' rights party.
Well, I think they still are. I think it's that MAGA has taken, again, I remember I said this before. I said MAGA is going to solidify itself as its own party. We are going to see that split. And I think it's going to happen if we get to the midterm. I think that's when we're going to see it. I think you're going to start
to see the power so easily. Like, I don't know. They've had so many opportunities to divest themselves, but they've been so drawn by what he can accomplish and how that allows their agenda to go forward that it's like. But
they're seeing the weaknesses now. They're starting to see the weakness. Yes, they are. The immigrant thing. A lot of them are married to immigrants, and you know what I mean. Like, come on. So that's been a turning point for them. For some of
those other immigrants, the ones they don't like.
I'm telling you, like, these MAGA folks are having their wives and husbands being snatched out of their arms. Okay, it is disrupting their communities. They can't, all the people that they rely on to keep their communities thriving are being completely removed. So there is some effect on that. They're turning with that. But the other thing is that the grocery prices continue to rise. The shelves are empty. Huh?
Everything's high.
Everything. And you're going into stores and the shelves are like not what they used to be. They're empty. Like, that's what people really care about. And so many people who said that they voted for him based on the economy are seeing that the economy is only getting worse.
He just says, I brought in billions and trillions. If he just says it,
he said that he brought in trillions, but I think even the most ignorant, uneducated of MAGA understand that trillions is not what you should be saying. If he was saying billions, they believe it, but trillions.
He exaggerates. He never exaggerates. I don't know.
Katie said that MAGA in Pittsburgh are not happy. I know. They're turning. Like, have you noticed the volatility in gas prices, gas and electric prices? Right. All public utilities across states, people have been talking about that for sure. Definitely in my state, people are like, what is happening? So life is becoming more expensive and they're feeling that. But again, I just think, this is what I think, that the people that are going to run for office, the Republicans that are going to run for office, are going to start, mark my words, they're going to start to distance themselves from Trump because he's become so absurd. Now, the issue with MAGA is that they don't like J.D. Vance. They don't want him, okay? He's a Corpus Day Catholic. MAGA hates Catholics. They hate Catholics. They hate Jews, okay? So that's going to be an issue. He has no personality at all. He's not doing anything at all. And they're not feeling him. He's going to be installed anyway, but like, that's why they're going to off Trump before that. Like, Trump is getting sick. JD just talked about how he's ready for the job. He's had 200 days of on the job training. They're already telling us they're about to. I told y'all they were going to do this. Did I not say that?
Saying this since the beginning. You've been saying
I've been saying this since the beginning. They're done with him.
Yeah, but JD is not a charismatic leader. Nobody actually likes him.
He's a loser.
He's only one because he's the guy next to the guy.
And he was planted there by Peter Thiel, who has been like planting his people across like the administration now. Okay, putting people in these major, in the CDC, he got somebody in the CDC, I believe. Somebody fact check me. Like, he's doing this. He's building his governments.
Yeah.
Because JD Vance hates Donald Trump. He hated him before. He still hates him. But he's biding his time. I've been saying this from the beginning. He is biding his time. And they're allowing Trump to expire. And he's going to expire before the midterms.
What if they're allowing him to piss off a MAGA so that JD Vance can come in and be the savior?
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. 100%.
Like, I think there's like this belief that I think there is this fundamental belief that you can't break America beyond what can be fixed.
Yeah.
And so he can do all these things and they can just roll it back after and still maintain the pieces of it that they want and have wanted. I mean, I think the dismantling of the social safety nets is definitely going to stay, but the carve outs and the pork barrel deals are going to be what allows certain states to remain loyal.
And it's interesting because the Democrats are going to do nothing. They are
so ineffective. Oh my God.
They are horrible. I'm so glad I'm not a Democrat anymore. They are horrible, horrible, horrible. Like, if that was my team at homecoming, I would not be in the stands. I'd be, it's like Mission College in school days.
Right.
I'd be sitting there like, okay.
I don't know them.
I don't know them. I'm not.
I don't even go here.
Take that. What are you talking about? Primary. I'm not voting in a primary. I'm not a Democrat anymore. Okay, let's move on. So this little boy was killed after doing ding dong ditch. The boy, Julian Guzman, and several of his friends had approached the home and rang the doorbell just before 11 p.m. This is from the New York Times, by the way. On Saturday in the neighborhood in the east area of Houston, a witness stated that the boy was running from a house where he had rung the doorbell when he was shot. Okay. One witness reported first hearing a gunshot as both he and the boy were running away and then turning back to look at the house. There, the witness says he saw a person described as wearing all black extend his arm and shoot one more time towards the boy, who collapsed to the ground asking for help. Okay. I saw people today actually defending the shooter. And then some articles tried to say, oh, he was doing this social media prank. No. Ding Dong Ditch has been around. For ages, generations. Okay, as long as suburbia has existed.
As long as there's suburbia and there's been doorbells and bored children,
it has existed. And Gen Alpha, Gen Z, they're bringing these things back, but these are not new things. So I didn't like that depiction of it. But the fact of the matter is, he rang the doorbell and he ditched. Why are you coming out your house with a gun?
Right.
There's absolutely no reason for you to come outside of your house with a gun because somebody rang your doorbell and ran.
Yeah. No legitimate reason. I mean, we don't know what the guy was going through, whether he has his own mental health issues or whatever. But, I think, I wonder if it does speak to, where people are right now and how.
They're feral.
Yeah.
We have talked about this. Like, the Americans have gone completely feral.
Right. And so everybody's so on edge. Gun culture is what it is. And so, whenever there's a threat, if you have a weapon, you can resolve that threat pretty quickly. And so even though that's just a child running in the street, as a homeowner, I don't want people to bother me at 11 o'clock at night.
People be like, oh,
I definitely would have cut somebody out, but I wouldn't be shooting out my door.
I wouldn't be shooting. You know what I would do? Because I'm part of community, I would go find their mama.
Right.
Find their daddy and be like, excuse me, your kid rang my doorbells playing around. Please talk to them.
Right. Or
I whoop their ass.
Right.
That's how we used to be.
There was a time where he would have just grabbed him up by the scruff of the collar
and would have beat my ass.
Everywhere. Like, where are you from?
And then they would tell my mama. My mama would have beat my ass too. That's how we used to do.
Right. That's how we used to do it. We were a proper country.
We were. Now we parent gently. Okay. All right. So I want to get into Ibrahim Traore.
Yes.
And I'm pronouncing it Traoré because let me put his name in the chat just so people can know who I'm talking about. You can look him up for yourself. All right. So Ibrahim Traore. Why is Ibrahim Traore in the news right now? Okay. Burkina Faso's government has passed the law banning homosexuality, with those found guilty facing 2 to 5 years in prison, according to the state broadcaster. The draft law, which is going to come up later, this has been a thing they've been working on for a while, was unanimously passed on Monday by 71 unelected, I'm going to say unelected, members of the country's transitional government, which has been in place since the military seized power under the leadership of now President Ibrahim Traore after 2 coups in 2022. Now, some of you may not be familiar with this name. Some of you may have heard it. One of the reasons you may have heard it is because a lot of people are talking about him and how he kind of represents this kind of new direction that African nations are going in or could go in, and African leadership moving African nations away from colonial rule, particularly by the French, who has been just lingering around and kind of looking at that, right? And so a lot of people have been kind of celebrating because he's pushing out the colonizers. He's like nationalizing things. He's trying to take care of he's promising that he's going to take care of the people and all these things. However, Traoré is incredibly problematic. And I caught a lot of stuff. I said this several months ago, and I caught a lot of hell. So to the point where I just kind of, I think I archived my post on Instagram. I don't know. I couldn't find it, but like, I was just like, I don't want to deal with this because you all are not seeing the bigger picture. And because I am African-American, there are people who feel like I should not be, commenting on this despite my PhD in Africology and being
but what is that really?
Fuck what I know. So I just want to catch people up a little bit, Dr. Hall, if you don't mind. You can pop in if something pops up, or what have you. Okay. But anyway, they said if a person is a perpetrator of homosexual or similar practices, all the bizarre behavior, okay, that could be literally anything, okay, they will go before the judge. And then they said any foreign nationals that are brought before a judge are going to be deported under the law, okay? So I want to give you a little bit of history of how Traoré came to be in power. So he's been the interim president. These words that I'm using are going to be so important, y'all. He's the interim president of Burkina Faso since 2022. He staged a coup against Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, okay, who was also an interim president after also staging a coup, okay? There has been a lot of political turmoil within Burkina Faso because of what they call Islamist jihadists who are trying to take over the country and have been able to occupy about 40% of it, okay? I say Roch, it's R-O-C-H, it could be Roach, but Roch Marc Kabore, he was the president. Damiba comes in and stages a coup. The reason why he staged a coup is because Damiba thought that they should bring in Russian mercenaries to help fight the Islamist jihadists. But Kabore was against it, said that if we bring in Russia, we're going to be alienated by the West, okay? And Damiba, by the way, was trained by the United States. This is important, y'all, because this is what happens all the time. We act like the United States does not play a role in this destabilization of these nations, but it does.
Propping up
okay? Everything Damiba knows about being a fighter, being in military, and all this stuff, he was trained by the U.S. multiple times, okay? So he stages the coup to get out Kabore, who was afraid of, Western alienation. But then Traoré comes, and they were cool. They was buddies. They was, it was on the same team, but he stages the coup because he said that Damiba was not doing what he needed to do to protect the security of the people and all this stuff like that, right? So since the start of the counterinsurgency operation, incidents of organized violence in Burkina Faso went up from 16 a year in 2014 to 1,315 a year by the end of 2021. So we're talking in 7 years, That's what, like 1,000% something. Like I can't do the math. One of you dorks do it. So suffice it to say, going from 16 acts of violence a year to over 1,300 is a big deal. And so they're thinking that, you know, he's not doing enough good enough job. We're going to stage a coup. We're going to do a better job. Traore's like, you're not doing a better job. I'm going to stage a coup because I'm going to do a better job. So that's how we got here. Okay. So that's how he's in power right now. Right. However, he has not been able to defeat the jihadists, which was his whole thing. I'm going to defeat the jihadists. I'm going to take care of the people. And so the people have been discontent, right? And so Traoré comes in and he's still not doing it. And people are like, this is not working. We need to do something. Damiba was exiled to Togo, but he sent a letter expressing his concerns. Why? Because the Burkinabe people are being abused by Traoré's forces. So this is where Traoré starts to show, before we even get to the queer thing, his military forces are abusing the people of Burkina Faso, particularly the Fulani people, who are predominantly Muslim. They are being accused of being Islamic jihadists. So his military has been killing civilians, not unlike another people we've heard of that are claiming that the Palestinian people are all Hamas.
Well, that's what you do.
The jihadists are paid by the US, by the way, right? So again, Western influence, right? So that's a big part of it. They believe that the West is funding the jihadists.
Yeah.
And are.
Right.
And he wants to get rid of these jihadists because the jihadists have taken over 40% of the land. But they're killing civilians at the same time, right? This becomes a human rights issue. Human Rights Watch is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all killed a lot of people.
Right.
So at least 130 civilians were killed by the Burkina Faso government forces and the allied militia in 1 month. Okay. Yeah. And they said that it was a massacre. Okay. And let's see what else. They said that the military was responsible for the mass killing of the Fulani civilians. Right. And this was between March 14th and April 22nd of this year. Human Rights Watch interviewed by phone or in person 27 witnesses to the attacks, 2 militia members and 4 journalists. And this is how they got all of the information, right? Guess what he did? He then bans, and they start reporting on it. He bans outside media and media within his own country.
Well,
so that's number 2.
That's
so
what
he's
you do.
Killing citizens.
Yes.
Okay.
Make it so that you can't report on it.
The media, so they can't report on it. Why? Because he says that they're making it up and that it didn't happen.
Well, he's in charge.
So he's saying that you're not allowed to report on what's going on in my country because all you do is lie. But then he also wants the media to be more patriotic.
So you get the fake to run the media.
Where have we heard that before?
Well, every time there's a fascist regime.
Where do we live? Right.
Yeah.
We have a president who is talking about fake news and you're telling lies and he only wants to believe the outlets. That's why he has bloggers in the press room. Right. Right. So that's an issue. So that's number 2. Number 3, they were supposed to have an election in July of 2024.
You don't need that.
There's been no election.
You don't need that. Why would you need an election? You got a coup will do it.
So when he staged the coup in 2022, they had these agreements that he agreed to that by July of 2024, they would have an election.
A lot has changed by 2024.
And that the Burkinabe people would be able to vote for leadership. He then comes in and basically says, we're not stable enough to have an election. Okay.
You don't need those.
So in May, a national conference organized by the government. Again,
thanks, Katie.
The government that is not elected. I just told you all, 71 unelected people.
Yeah.
People that he picked.
Yeah.
They came together and said they're going to extend the period of transition to a domestic government by 5 more years.
Sure.
At least till 2029. He's going to remain.
Just throwing a number out there. 5 years. 5 years is good.
Okay. Why did he do that? Because Ibrahim Traore is fundamentally against democracy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would he do that?
Right. So he dismissed the notion that democracy is a prerequisite to development. He believes in popular progressive revolution, adding that democracy has no place in his country. He said, if we have to say it out loud and clear here, we are not in a democracy. We are in a popular progressive revolution. We must necessarily go through a revolution, and we are indeed in a revolution. So the question of democracy or libertinism of action or expression has no place. As much as you think you are free to speak and act, the other is also free to speak and act. And there we end up with a society of disorder. It is impossible to name a country that has developed in democracy. Democracy is only the result.
I mean, it just complicates things.
That's 4 things. I want everybody to keep track. Killing his own citizens.
Yes.
Banning the media. The LGBTQ ban.
Yeah.
Being anti-democracy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going. Keep it going.
Square in the fascist playbook.
Keep going. Okay. So there are people that want him gone. And the reason why is because deaths caused by this Islamist violence have nearly tripled compared to the 18 months before the 2022 coup. And violence has increased by 46%.
He had one job. He didn't do his one job.
He's had one job. His job was to reduce the violence, get rid of the jihadists.
To do that and say we still got 5 more years before we'll be stable enough to even consider elections is wild.
Am I the only one seeing this? Like they said 2 million people have been either displaced. Yeah, more than 2 million people have been displaced and thousands of civilians and security personnel have been killed. Okay. Not even the change of political order has extinguished the conflict. There's an uptick in violence in 2023 with 8,000 deaths that year. So he's not handling the job of curbing the violence. He's not providing security to the people. In fact, his military is attacking opposition folks. So some of the media that he banned was within his own nation. He said they weren't patriotic enough.
Obviously not. They were against him. That's not patriotism.
That's not patriotism. Okay.
No. He's establishing himself as the nation. He's more important.
He said that he would shut down media that carry enemy propaganda, and he added, "We are at war. In war, there is communication to be done. We want people who will communicate, who will encourage the people to hold on."
Have we talked about his propaganda yet?
Yeah, no, he doesn't want anybody to critique him.
He has his own propaganda. He's known for using AI speeches.
Oh wait, 5. That's 5 things because the election, postponing the election for 5 years. Well, it was supposed to be in 2024. Now it's supposed to be 5 years.
Promised in 2022, but you all know in 2022 it might take an additional, 5 years. What is that? 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just say 8. Let's just say 8 for now. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So now here's the next thing.
Next thing.
Cozying up with Vladimir Putin and Russia.
You want a superpower on your side.
He has made 2 trips to Moscow that we know of, okay, and during which he met with Vladimir Putin, okay? He's saying that the terrorism we are witnessing today comes from imperialism, and that's what he tells Putin. So he's basically saying, in addition to the defense and security, there's another important sphere, namely science and education. We would like Russia to teach science to young Burkinabes so that we can develop our own production, industry, and engineering. This is what he told Putin when they met after Victory Day, okay? The Russian president in turn assured him, we are united by a common goal of fighting terrorism and extremism. We will continue to help the Republic in suppressing the radical jihadist groups that are still active in parts of Burkina Faso, okay? Traoré says, despite all the sanctions, Russia manages to remain at the forefront of the international stage. It's a lesson for all of us. And they were praising their modern equipment. You say that you don't want Western influence. and that you're bothered by the imperialism.
I mean,
but you're cozying up to the guy who has more nukes than the U.S.
I mean, we're friends. They're friends. They're good friends. Just good friends.
He wants weapons. Yes, he wants Russia's weapons because his weapons are not good. He's losing to the jihadists. That's
an influence.
Yeah, he's losing to the jihadists.
It would be great to have a superpower on your side. It's always great.
It's always great to have a superpower. You got to pick one.
Particularly one that's willing to make some backdoor deals.
But here's the issue that I have. Here's the issue that I have with going to Russia. Hold on one second. Here's the issue that I have going with sorry. Sorry. There was something that somebody was I'm gonna close Instagram. Sorry, y'all. I'm just gonna pull this over here. Okay, sorry. I'm back.
And we're back.
You're saying that you want white people to educate Africans.
I mean,
that's the thing that stood out to me. No offense to the white people in the audience, but if all your stuff you're invoking Thomas Sankara, right? You're talking about, Africa for Africans and all of this stuff.
Revolutionary world building. Yeah.
Revolutionary world building, but you're going to the Russians because you want the Russians to educate young Burkinabe people. Oh, by the way, the median age in Burkina Faso is 17.
17.7.
17.7. That's the median age.
Yeah.
That is extremely young.
Head of state ever.
You said what?
He was the youngest head of state ever, right? He was just only 24 when he got to power.
And he appeals to the young people because he's not like some old fogey, right?
Yeah. He also uses AI and social media, and there are rumors that there are Russian-backed AI videos that are deep fake of him giving speeches that appeal to the young people.
So I want us to circle back to the queer thing because I think this is important. He sent a representative to the UN, and this was a while ago, folks. This is not a new thing, y'all. I was telling you all about this before. You weren't listening to me, and that's okay. All right, so here we go. Listen to this.
Impoverish them, who starve them, and who torture them. The misfortune of Africa is to have met France, end of quote. It's true that the West was violent with Africa, raped it, and stole from Africa. So what is our share of the responsibility in all of this as African leaders? Is it not us, the African leaders, who have abandoned our identity? Our names have disappeared in order to make way for other names that do not match our realities. We need to reconquer our own culture and take ownership. And that's why today, people try to make us believe that our values and our attitudes are not natural and are not part of freedom, and that there will never be a question of homosexuality for us. Let me repeat that. Homosexuality will not take root in our countries. Mr. President.
Okay. So that was a long time ago. You're using your stage time at the UN to discuss this. Now, I just got to tease this out for people. Many African nations or African people believe that homosexuality is a European import, that it's a product of colonization, that Africans are not queer and they're only that way because of colonization. This is not true. We know this is not true, right? We've done the knowledge. We know that back in Kemet, there was evidence of same-sex relationships, right? So it's not that. But they see it as a marker of colonization. So that's why they penalize it in the way that they do. And so many nations in Africa have done this. They've criminalized it because they see it as a vestige of colonization. That is the most twisted, stupid thing ever, but that's how they feel.
It's also, once again, a convenient thing to attack.
It's a convenient thing to attack.
These are bizarre people that should be under our boot. It's good red meat for the base. And now you got people who feel uncomfortable because they're being forced to deal with the homosexual agenda, and they'll listen to you and say they'll do whatever you want.
Right. It's a lazy target. Somebody said it's a lazy target, right? But it makes it just like with Trump and immigrants and things like that. By having a display of action, it makes you say, "I'm doing something."
I'm doing something.
I'm doing something, right? The way
I'm
that they
dealing with
attack
a group
trans
that makes
people
you
here.
uncomfortable.
I'm doing something.
Mhm.
No trans people in sport, no trans girls in sports. It's
Doesn't
like
really
10 of
solve
them.
your actual problems,
We
but
spent
it makes you
millions
feel
of
like
dollars to
something
get
has
rid of
changed.
10 girls from sports.
Yeah,
I'm doing
7.
something, right?
Right.
It's the same kind of thing. And I brought this up before, people coming at me, because here's why. Let me tell you the things that people do like about him. Okay.
Mhm.
And this is where a lot of the disappointment comes, because more than anything, we want to see an empowered Africa. As a continent, we want to see empowered African nations. We want
Yeah.
to see people divest of the colonization, get rid of the
Yeah.
money, right? Mali and other places, they are getting rid of French currency. They are getting rid of the language as a national language. We want to see that, right?
Right.
So he's doing things like he's nationalized the gold mines, which
Mhm.
were valued at 80 million USD. His government has established a state-owned mining company to which foreign corporations mining in the country, including Russian Norgold, are required to share a 15% stake of their local operations. Okay. And they have to transfer technical know-how to Burkinabes. I want to remind people the median age is 17. He's looking to build a nation similar to what Rwanda was doing after the genocide. But now we see what happened in Rwanda. Rwanda is now supporting and are perpetrators of this genocide and this war in the Congo. So, I mean, again, youth can be corrupted very easily. And so this is what he's trying to do. He wants the Russians to come in and to train these people up, right? Okay, so they set up their first gold refinery. They're also creating plants to process agricultural produce like tomatoes. He gave the farmers free tractors, things like that. Foreigners are not allowed to own farmlands. Okay, so they nationalized all the farmlands. They were getting rid of the private ownership of urban real estate, right? So they're pushing people out. Their airports are expanding. There have been mobile clinics that are being sent to improve and healthcare access. He's doing all this. They launched a national postal bank to reduce dependence on the French currency. Okay. Like these are things that people want to see. These are actually great things. But that is how a despot is made. That is how dictators are made. They make promises and they do good things and they get people to support them by doing the good things. But then
it comes with some atrocity, a little bit of fascism.
With a lot of fascism.
Just a hint, just a scotch,
just a little
sprinkling of fascism. That's all.
You know, just
authoritarianism, just a little bit of just right there. I'm the state. I'm more important than everybody else.
Just a little.
We don't need your voting. We don't need your voting over here.
So he's against democracy. He does not believe that his nation can grow into what it is under democracy. Now here's the thing.
We can't grow if we have to listen to all of y'all.
Let me bring the devil in. The devil I don't believe in. When you have a vision, you don't want too many hands in the pot.
You don't want to prove it.
In a country where coups are a standard way of doing business.
Changing power. It's the only way.
You have to, and you have a vision and you're like, I want to get this done. I don't have time for y'all to be trying to elect nobody. I want to handpick. Now the people watching that know me, know how I get. I don't like to delegate shit because I know I have a vision. People will say, how can I don't want your help. Get out. Get out. I got it. So in some ways, I believe that is his mentality. Is like, no, I need time. I'm going to postpone
one thing
this.
If you're running a party, it's another thing to run a country that way.
Yes. And I think that he believes that he can get this together. He just needs time. If I have an election and it's based on this rising violence, you're going to vote. You're not going to vote for me. Give me time to make my Russian connections, to get their weapons, to get their support, to get their mercenaries, all that stuff.
You can trust
them
Putin.
in.
You can trust Putin.
Right. To help us get the jihadists out. Because once I get the jihadists out, then we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
But the people are like, you've been telling us you was going to get these jihadists out for the last 3 years and you haven't done it. So
he just needs like 5 more years. Just 5 more years.
He just needs 5 more years.
years.
And again, with such a young population, there's time and room to grow.
Sure.
However, this is a dictator in the making.
In the making? Are we saying making? I mean, I'm pretty sure.
I'm saying in the making because I still think there's opportunity for intervention to stop him. Right? I think he's in the making. I think he's on his way there. He's also still young himself. The man is 37 years old, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, oh man, but I don't know. He's cozying up with Putin, and a lot of the articles that were written about it were written from the patriotic position of when he stepped off that plane in Russia, he was not treated like he was inferior. He was treated like a partner. He was respected in Moscow, and Putin showed him support and love and all these things. And it's like,
what does that sound like? Man, I've heard that before.
How? Like,
it's almost like, didn't one of our people go over there just a little while ago?
Why are you like this? Why
venerated by the press as if?
Why are you? Yeah. Let's see. Let's get a picture of him up. I think
familiar. It just feels familiar. That's all I'm saying. That they speak so highly as opposed to.
To me, he looks like he's in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. Hold on. Let me share. Let me let the people decide. Let's see. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he looks 37.
Is that a real picture of him, or is that the state-sponsored pictures?
No, there's a bunch of. Look at the pictures.
Yeah, those are
showing a bunch of them.
Pictures. Have they been altered in any way? Oh no, he's got a uniform and everything.
Yeah, he always wears this uniform. And so they were talking about this too, about how he
presents himself.
There's a lot of pomp and circumstance to remind people that he's like the captain, right?
Yeah. No.
So he is a problem, and the reason why he's a problem is because he has a lot of support in other African nations. They support him and his ideas, and that means what that means is that the Russian influence in Africa is only going to grow. Now, here's why this is an issue. China wants to own Africa. Okay. And so China and Africa duking it out over, China and Russia, I should say, duking it out over Africa spells a huge problem for Africans.
I don't know. I feel like we just talked a little bit ago about China and Putin and Xi shaking hands and smiling with each other.
But Traoré is going to want to be a part of that. And now, again, let's be honest. The United States deserves everything that's coming. It does. It's always been a terrible nation.
We brought
had terrible politics. It has always been imperialist. It has always staged and supported coups. It has always provided weapons to the wrong people. It has always interfered in other people's business.
In the national interests, we might have stepped on a few people.
And everywhere I've gone, people have talked about how much they love Trump. I remember during the first time that Trump was president, and I was traveling during COVID when I wasn't supposed to, but other countries were handling COVID than the United States. So I was a lot safer outside of the United States. They were all talking about how they loved that Trump was here and that he was on America first. Maybe he'll leave us alone. Maybe they'll get the United States to leave us alone. So the United States has been an imposition for a lot of people, right? Yeah. And so they're kind of looking at, like, how do we take out the US? This country that has claimed it is the leader of the free world, it is the best country in the world, and all this stuff like that. And they're like, no, you're not. And I will tell you, United States is not. And if you go anywhere else, the food, the transit, the value of the currency, whatever.
Really good marketing.
Really great marketing, propaganda.
Entertainment.
Yeah, all their entertainment is black. So
it's our primary export. So yeah,
right, we look good on paper. Blackness is the United States' primary export.
Entertainment and culture.
Yeah.
Yes. So we sell that to other people.
Yeah.
And administration. We also technically sell administration.
Yeah.
So myth making is like our bread and butter.
And we sell guns and weapons.
I mean, yeah, also weapons. I mean, we're a superpower. Sure.
Right. So what we are going to see is more of these nations coming together and forming coalitions in efforts to take us out. If Russia and China, oh my God, okay, if Russia and China get together And Modi brings in his 1.2 billion people or his 1 billion people.
Who we're very reliant on.
Significant amount who are living in poverty. You can force them into military service. Forgot to mention, that's also what Traoré was doing, was forcing people who were his opposition into involuntary military service and putting them on the front line of with the jihadists and letting them be killed. So he's saying that the jihadists are being killed, but he's actually punishing people that have spoken out against him, destroying their families, sending them all to the front line to be killed by the jihadists. That's another thing that they reported on him doing. So it's not just about the LGBTQ stuff.
Well, no, it never
is putrid.
Once again.
And that exists in many African nations.
Yeah.
It's more than that. And so Black people around the world, people of the African diaspora, many who don't know, haven't done the reading, right? Because
we need people to look up to venerate, and to say,
right,
hey,
we do.
Somebody's showing it to the world, and if there's a little bit of homophobia in it, I mean,
they hate gay people too. So that's why it works. Is that like people are like, well, how could somebody said earlier, like, how could they allow something to discuss? I said because they support that.
32 African nations, a good majority of Black people in America are very conservative in their around sexuality.
People, they hate queer and trans people.
I mean,
so it's not, again, it's not hard
so
to,
much. It's like they're asking for more than they deserve, right?
Yeah. So they're like, what's the big deal? I've actually gotten into it with people online, and I'm like, he wants to ban homosexuality. They're like, so?
Yeah.
Good. They shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Why are they doing it? An abomination.
So that's that. And then they're like, oh, well, you know, he wants to get rid of the West. We all want to get rid of the West. But guess what? When you completely ban the media from reporting what's going on, Israel did that, and they just killed the rest of the journalists. So I mean, like, or they're trying to. There's a few left.
Actively. Yeah.
And Trump is trying to control our media. These are all things that we can recognize. It's bad when other people do it, but somehow when a Black man from an African nation does it, it's okay.
Well, I mean, he's doing it for the sake of Black people.
The Black people that he's killing.
But no, like Black people, like Black people.
So yeah, anyway, we've been sitting here for 2 hours. I love y'all so much. Again, we're doing political theater on Tuesdays. Occasionally, Dr. Hall will be here.
One in the chat for the
one guy. In the chat if you like Dr. Hall being here tonight. 2 in the chat if he doesn't have to be.
2s, just ones.
Okay.
Ones.
Thank you for hanging out, and also we want to once again thank our guest from earlier, KiKi, known as the Uppity Negress online, coming through. Oh, you got a bunch of ones.
Hey, look, I did okay today.
You did actually. You did pretty okay.
I did pretty good.
Except for the 2 times that you knocked her offline just by speaking.
I apologize for that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So, thank you all so much. Really appreciate you. Yes, definitely research into. I mean, you could take my word or go research Ibrahim Traore. You're not going to find a whole lot because he does not allow people to come and report for him. I actually dug through this. Like, I was doing the research for a very long time. I have been, because I mean, again, I'm a Pan-Africanist. Like, this is what I study. This is what I love. So of course I was checking it out, but I wanted you all to see also, I'm wearing my Chinga La Migra shirt. It's part of my merch. Okay. I want to remind you all that you can go to my website. I feel like did I put that on there? Anyway, feministajones.com/merch. You can go. This is my Chinga La Migra shirt. For those who don't know, it means F immigration, and is a picture of a melting ice cube. So you can get that and rock that and show your support for folks. And you can also get some other pretty cool stuff on the site. So again, feministajones.com/merch. It's not a fancy shop. I don't actually care about that. Just go through and just order it, and then you can get it. If you like what we did here today, you can also send a Cash App to Fem Jones, a Venmo to Fem Jones, or if you are out of the country and need to use PayPal, the email is contact@feministajones.com. I think I have that somewhere here. You can see. Please like and subscribe to my
share.
channel. Somebody earlier mentioned saying that they didn't get a notification. I did set this up. I don't know what's going on. You can subscribe, but you also need to set alerts, right? On the channel. You go to the channel, you can set an alert to be alerted. But also I'm doing political theater Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daytime, whatever the fuck it is. I don't
your watch.
Put it in your calendar. Put it in your Google Calendar. I will be here. If you subscribe to my channel and you go, I will send a note and to everybody saying if I can't make it. But my plan is to do that. I will let you know in time. Or if you follow me on Threads or anywhere else, I'll say I'm not going to be here. But we're going to do this. We're going to get through this together. The country is falling apart. It is. And we will be talking more about that. I hope to have some more guests coming to talk about things and, and we're talking about the political landscape from an extremely progressive, right? All this leftist shit is just getting on my nerves because these people are actually corny. I think white male leftist is an oxymoron in the same way that ally doesn't make sense. But anyway, we're celebrating 10 years of me theorizing that allies don't exist and me talking about co-conspirators, even though that has been credited to other people.
Shout out
from me.
Yes.
I disrupted the matrix when I said that. I pissed off a lot of people around the entire world, but they've also developed frameworks around my work in talking about how allies don't exist and that we need to be co-conspirators. So we're celebrating 10 years of that. It was August of 2015 that I theorized that. And if you follow me on Threads, ignore a lot of the BS. Some people are really...
You were a trending topic today.
They're just clout chasing and just feel the need to gang up on a sister. Because I live the way I live. I am who I am all the time, every day. So I appreciate all of your support. Those of you who rock with me, love you very much. Thank you for all your support. And we will talk soon. All right. Bye, y'all.